Thanks for tuning back in. I appreciate it. Tonight, I'm going to do something a little bit different. It's still got to do with sharpening, but I'm going to show you how you can make your own leather strops for way cheaper than what does a strop cost nowadays? 20 to 40 bucks, depending on the type and size you get. So to make this video not 20 minutes long, hopefully we're going to speed through some of this, but here's the stuff you're going to need. You're going to need a block of wood. Okay, I've got a piece of walnut here, nice and thick, so that my fingers are clear when I'm stropping the knife or blade over it. My fingers aren't going to be in the way, or my thumb pad, the pad of my thumb here. Got a block of wood, some leather. This happens to be kangaroo leather. I'm going to show you in the description below where you can find either kangaroo leather or horse butt leather, which is also a super good stropping leather. And check this out. You can get 5 of these. This is Horween horse butt leather. Check out how big this is. Okay, 5 of these for 85 bucks. That's less than $20 for one of these, and you can probably make 10 to 15 strops out of just one. Okay, and this is good leather. Look at the thickness on it. Okay, it's legit leather from a horse. I've been using it for years, and it works great as a strop. The kangaroo is a little bit more expensive. I'll still show you where you can get that though. I think I paid 117 bucks for a pelt bigger than that. But still way more cost effective than buying a kangaroo strop online. You're going to need some contact cement. This here is Infinity Cement from Barge. Contact cement you're going to need. And then you'll need a sharp knife or a blade to clean up the edges after we're done gluing. And then optional, but still a nice touch, is to have either a hand plane, a small hand plane, or a chisel to chamfer the edges on it. Okay, so what we're going to do here, very first thing is I sized this leather out so that the block of wood will fit on it perfectly. Well, actually, there's a little bit of give. I don't want it to be perfect because it slides a tiny bit when you get the glue down. So there's a little bit of extra on each side. But we want to open up this contact cement here. Okay. And then we want to get lots of this contact cement. You want to go real heavy with the contact cement. Get it on every corner, nice and heavy. Okay, then you want to get it on the wood as well. Every corner of the face that's going to get the glue or get glued to that needs to have contact cement on it. You don't want to have to go back and lift up an edge and try and squeeze extra glue under there. So use the contact cement liberally. Okay, and then line it up and push down. It's going to slide just a tiny bit. Once you get it there, just push down on it, and then put something heavy on it. You can clamp it. I wouldn't clamp directly like to the face of the leather and the back, because you might get an impression and then your strop won't be straight. So just do something like that. Okay. Contact cement dries pretty quick, and so I actually have one that I finished here about 25 minutes ago. Okay. And so once it's dry, you want to check all the corners and edges to make sure you didn't miss anywhere. Make sure it's glued down in all the corners. And there's one tiny, is that bad or no? That one right there. One tiny corner that didn't get quite enough glue, and it's minuscule, but I'm not a perfectionist, but I'm whatever's beneath perfectionist. All right. So we just put a smidge more glue there. Let me grab a paper towel. Actually, I'll just use one of these towels here because I got contact cement on my finger. All right. And then I'm going to show you, once it's dry, what your next step is. All right. So I went ahead and glued up all 3 of these blocks, and I brought in 2 additional optional pieces of equipment. But one was, I use this on, I'll put a video or a link to the video up above, but I use this industrial abrasive stick. It's like a giant eraser, but a little bit harder. I use this to clean off my diamond resin stones, but I wanted to, this was a pro tip in this video, but it also works on, this is a sanding block, a 120 grit. It also works on renewing sandpaper. So it gets all the grit that's, or all the sawdust that's stuck in there, and gets your abrasive back. So pro tip, again, another pro tip. So you don't need that eraser, but you could use some sandpaper, and I'll show you when to do that. So we've got this now. This was the first one I did, so this one's the most dry. What I want to do is get a nice sharp knife. You can use like an X-Acto knife. This is a woodworking carving knife. And then you want to put this and reference it against the side of the block, and just peel it towards you. And that's going to give you an absolutely flush edge for your strop. Okay. Do it on all the sides. If you have extra glue on the side, if you have a nice knife like this will help scrape it off too. Not that it's the end of the world if you have some glue on the edge of your strop, but if you're going for appearance, you can use that or the hand plane, and I'll show you when the hand plane comes in handy. Okay, and we want to take this Get all four sides. Okay. All right, and then once you have all four sides, the hand plane is going to come in for comfort. So you're going to want to use the hand plane or a chisel and chamfer these edges so that it's not as sharp of an angle and it's more comfortable to hold. Okay. This is a little apron plane that I'm using from Veritas. Because I do woodworking, and I just said do, but I do woodwork as well, and that's really where my first woodworking or sharpening passion got spawned, was from woodworking. All right, then I just like to take the edges here put a little notch in there and just knock off the corners. Personal preference. And then, so there's two sides of the leather. You've got kind of the rough side of the leather. I put the glue on the rough side. And then I've got the smooth outside skin here. What I like to do is take like a 120 grit sandpaper here and just go over this a few times. And it helps rough up the outside surface, which is going to help when it comes to applying the compound. When you put the compound on, the compound will stick better. It'll get down in there better. So that is how I make my strops. I've got dozens of them, and you can make them for much cheaper than you buy them. So I will show you in the next portion how I put my compound on. So let me get this little mess cleaned up, and then we'll do some compound. All right, we're at the final step here. One thing you're going to want to do is label your strop. Either right after you apply the compound or beforehand. I use the Gendy diamond stropping compound or paste, emulsion, whatever you want to call it. I've had great success with it. There's others out there. I'm not affiliated with Gendy at all. But I do have a link down below. So to apply this, you're just going to squirt this on there. I found that this can be a little runny. So put a couple splashes on. Some people use a razor blade. I use a like a putty knife and just spread it out across the stone or the strop, and you're going to want to let this dry before you use it. So don't put on too much. But you want to make sure you get all the area, because, or the majority of it. Because you're going to be stropping your knife across it. Maybe do one more. All right, so let me know what you think in the comments below. And then I'm gonna let this dry. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I've had tremendous success with these homemade strops, and I hope that I've helped somebody out there get a creative bug and the desire to go out there and make your own strop. It's much more affordable. And you can really test out different compounds, different progressions. If you want to go with a 8 micron to a 1 micron, or an 8 to a 4, or a 6 to a 2 micron to a 0.1 micron, it allows you to do that without having to buy a brand new strop every single time, if you've got the ability to build or make 10 different strops from one piece of leather and some wood. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with somebody, and I will catch you on the next video. Damn for all out.